Alash and Soviet Power. The project was made by Kristina, Sanjar, Ramina, Daria, and Evgeny.
Alash movement was the first expression of fundamental interests and democratic values in the history of the Kazakh people. Despite the short period of existence, incomplete program godness, Kazakh Westerns made a huge contribution to the history and culture of modern Kazakhstan.
The relationship between the Alash and the Soviet government were complex and inconsistent. Alash was a nationalist movement that sought to establish an independent Kazakh state in the early 20th century. The Soviet government, by contrast, sought to build a socialist state uniting all Soviet republics. At the first All-Kazakh Congress, held in Orenburg from 21st to 28th of July 1917, the organizational formation of the party Alash took place. The chairman of the Congress was Halevdos Muhamedov. The program of the party was developed by Aliхан Bokeihan, Ahmet Baytursunov, and Mirjaqub Dulatov. The program consisted of 10 paragraphs and was published in the newspaper Kazakh, November 21st, 1917. It proclaims democratic values, equality, religion separate from the state, equality before the court, agrarian issue, and development of education. As a result of the October Revolution of 1917, the Soviets, the Reds, and the White government began to fight for power. The leaders of the national intelligentsia and the Alash party did not accept the ideas of the Soviets, and from December 5th to 13th, 1917, in the city of Orenburg, they held the second All-Kazakh Congress. It was proclaimed to create a national state, Alash autonomy, or Alash Orda. Alихан Бокейхан was elected as the leader of the state, and Semey city was elected as its capital. In March 1918, members of the Alash Orda government, Halevdos Muhamedov and Janshados Muhamedov, held negotiations with Lenin and Stalin on granting national autonomy to the Kazakhs by the Bolsheviks, which were not successful. With the victory of Soviet power in Kazakhstan, local bodies were liquidated. The publication of counter-revolutionary newspapers were banned everywhere. Thus, in 1918, the newspaper Kazakh was closed down. As a result, the leaders of Alash Orda began to actively cooperate with the white movements, which opposed Soviet power. To organize defense against the Soviet Red Army, a decision was made to organize military units of the Alash autonomy. In 1918, mounted regiments were formed everywhere in the cities of Kazakhstan, Kostanay, Uralsk, Orenburg, and Semey. But the leader of the Russian white movement, Admiral Alexander Kolchak, did not support the national autonomy of Kazakhs, and the population of steppe itself, by 1919, began to support the Red government of the Soviets, relying on socialist ideas. The military advantage of the Reds became obvious. The Alash, realizing that the Kazakh population was in an extremely difficult situation, in December 1919, Alash Orda went to accept the Soviet power. Besides, on April 4, 1919, the Revolutionary Military Council of the Republic published a decree on amnesty of Alash figures. After the victory in civil war, the Alash Orda Soviets were liquidated. The further fate of all Alash leaders and members was tragic. They were shot during the Stalinist terror in 1937 to 1939.
The Alash movement was a significant cultural and political movement among the Kazakh people. While it did not lead to the establishment of an independent Kazakh state, it had a lasting input on the Kazakh identity and culture. Even in music industry, we see the mentions of Alash. For example, Желтоқсан, Kazakhstan artist's work Жайықпен жүздескенде tells us a story of a Kazakhstan intelligentsia who was brutally executed by the cruel regime. Alash movement reminds us that each one of us is unique, a tapestry woven from the threads of our heritage, our cultural traditions, and the experience that have shaped us. It's essential that we recognize the importance of self-identification, as it allows us to define ourselves rather than being defined by others. Our ancestors have faced challenges and joys in embracing their heritage and cultural roots so we could experience the beauty of our traditions, the richness of our language, and the strength of our community.
Asavşılдар өрісіне бір адамға байланысты, бір адамның жеңісі де бұл замани қағиданың мүмкін бекен көнермегі қозы көрпеш аман тұрса баян сұлу